friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time, and I'm here for another random thoughts to ponder video that's part of a series I've been putting together, and it is going to be very random because I'm not always going to be talking about the same topic, but it probably in most cases what you're going to be seeing is these videos are going to be talking about subjects that are encouraging you to think outside the box. That's why I want you to ponder on some of these things as I bring them up. And so I'll be linking to the full playlist in the description box down below if you'd like to see more videos in this series. I believe this is part 4. Right below my channel name down here we see show more in all caps if you're on a computer, or if you're on a smart device over on this side you'll see a little gray arrow, and if you touch that it'll open up the description box so you can find any link that I'll be putting down there so that you can watch the full series, and I'll keep adding more to this. I'm always coming up with new topics, so it probably be a pretty long series, and it's probably going to keep building as it goes. So today I wanted to talk about teaching degrees, and do you need a teaching degree, or do you only trust people who have a teaching degree when it comes to teaching anything? And this topic came to mind because somebody had shared more recently in a video, I can't remember which one, I think it had to do with one of my most recent crochet video, and she said that her and a friend were teaching people how to do different things, how to crochet, how to knit, and so on and so forth. And sometimes people would show up and say, well, do you have a degree to do that? Which to me is so dang hilarious, because let me tell you something. I have been teaching many different things since I was in my early teens. And it started with teaching ballet to younger children. And then it grew into something bigger to the point that when I moved from Wenatchee to out here in Forks, and my many years of experience in both dance instruction as well as teaching myself, I had the experience, I was able to start my own dance school out here. And it was very rare a parent ever asked if I had a teaching degree, because what was important to them was that I had the experience, which I did. I also had experience in just working with children in general, because when I was going to college, I worked in a daycare for 2 years. And so it really kind of baffles the mind that some people still think this way, that you have to have a degree to teach anything. And I think that just goes back to that whole thing that just like with doctors, you know, we come to trust doctors simply because they have a degree, or we have to trust this person or that person because they have a degree. Well, that's what should really matter is the experience. I mean, the same thing goes with degrees of any kind. I personally would rather trust someone who had the common sense and the experience rather than some piece of paper hanging on their wall that only proves to me that they crammed enough for their exams to pass the test and earn that degree. That's the only thing that actually earned them that degree. It doesn't mean they don't actually know that stuff and haven't retained it, but it doesn't mean that they have. A lot of times when people cram for exams, it's only long enough so they can pass those exams. So it says nothing about their actual intelligence. It says nothing about whether or not they're even a good instructor and good with working with people or explaining things. It says nothing about their actual experience and common sense, for crying out loud. When I started teaching dance, I taught dance here for 28 years, and I was pretty successful even in our little small town. I had at one point a total of 95 students, not all at once. I had a whole bunch of different classes throughout the week, but from ages 3 clear on up to teenagers and sometimes even adults. And then I moved, once I got my black belt in Taekwondo, I then also started teaching Taekwondo and Wu Wei Gung Fu, which I also have a black belt in, and I taught those classes for 10 years. While I had the permission and I had the experience and I had the degree as far as the black belt, I didn't have any degree specifically for teaching. And now I'm here teaching many different things on YouTube, from how to sew, how to crochet, how to cook, bake, ferment, grow your own medicine, make your own medicine, and many different things. I do not have any kind of teaching degree. In fact, I have no degree from any kind of school whatsoever. I have various different certificates, but that's all I have to prove my education as far as a piece of paper is concerned. But what I do have is experience. Had to move a little bit because I got to get under, it's starting to rain on me, so I had to get under my little umbrella here out on the deck. So I like shooting videos out on the deck once things start greening up out here because it gives you some different scenery in the background. And then sometimes you can also hear my chickens. And the same goes for homeschooling. You can homeschool your own kids without having a teaching degree. I homeschooled both of my kids all the way through. I had no teaching degree. I only had just enough college credits so that I could independently homeschool my kids without any state or teacher intervention. I didn't need the state butting in and telling me what I should and shouldn't do with my children. And I had just enough college credits for that. Even though I never earned a degree in college, I didn't even get an AA. I knew there was a reason I went to college, but I wasn't really sure what it was until it came down to needing to homeschool my kids, and then I realized I had exactly what I needed for college credits as far as the state's concerned. But when it really comes down to it, anybody can teach their own kids, and you teach your own kids all the time. You're in the kitchen, you teach them how to bake, you teach them how to garden, you teach them how to do stuff in the wood shop. Most parents are teaching their kids something common sense and just skills that they should have. And you know what? That is the way it was done for centuries. Nobody had teaching degrees. People learned through experience or studying under somebody else who had that same experience, and then they went out and they either got a job or started teaching other people based on their experience of working under this person who had experience, and so on and so forth. That's how things were always done. And it's only really a modern mentality that anyone has to have a special degree to teach anything. And let me share you another story. There's a guy that I went to school with when I lived in Wenatchee, and he grew up poor. And I don't know that he ever went to college to learn what he has, but he has a couple of different skills, and one is in building computers and the other is in carpentry. And he's a very successful business owner, very successful. And when he hires anyone, he shared this story with me. He doesn't care what kind of degree they have. That doesn't matter to him. He doesn't hire people according to whether or not they're an AA or a BA or an MA or a PhD, because none of that matters to him, because he says the same thing I say. That only says how well they studied to pass their exams. What he looks for is their experience. Do they actually know what they're talking about and what they're doing when they go to do that, whatever it is they're assigned to do? That is what he finds important, and those are the kind of people that he hires. He doesn't care about their education. He cares about their actual experience, common sense, and intelligence, because that's the other thing. Degrees do not tell you how smart someone is. Trust me. You can have PhDs that are some of the dumbest people. They might know a lot about one thing, but it doesn't mean that they know everything about that one thing or they know anything about anything else. I'm not saying that having a PhD or an MA are absolutely worthless, or that they're a complete waste of time, because it is going to depend on the field that you're getting into. But I'm talking more about when you're stepping out to try to teach something to other people, or you're looking for someone to teach you or to teach your children. It shouldn't matter what kind of paper they have. It should matter whether or not they're good at what they do, whether they're patient enough, whether they're knowledgeable enough, and they have the experience needed to do that particular thing. So, as I said, I've taught ballet and other forms of dance. I've taught martial arts. I've taught in various forms, mostly Taekwondo and the Wu Wei Kung Fu. And then, again, all the stuff I teach right here on my channel. And I taught my own children all through growing up. All of this done without one single teaching degree, without any degree whatsoever. So think outside the box and remember, what was the way that things used to be done? I think more and more we need to look at the old-fashioned way and stop putting our trust in somebody's piece of paper that they have hanging on their wall or stuffed away in a drawer somewhere. Share your thoughts on any of this down below and your experiences, in dealing with other people. Do you teach other people? Do you have a degree or not? Just be polite as you share your comments, even if you don't agree with me or anyone else that shares. We can still have polite conversations with each other, even when we don't agree. And I think that's also very important, and a subject I have recently talked about in another video that is in this same playlist. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless.